Lotus Clock says they have no sound, so it sounds like the theme song.
Oh no!
Did you hear the theme song? Did you hear it,
I heard
Brandon?
it.
You heard it?
I enjoyed every
That's
second of it.
I looked and it showed the sound showing up in the audio mixer. The theme song is gone now. Well, yeah, we turn off the sound when we have the theme song. That's the format. So you're saying we do have sound. We just had the theme song. Okay, it worked as intended. Lotus Clock is being confusing.
Get this guy
here.
out of here.
Kick this
Security.
motherfucker.
Security.
Hello? Someone get him? Someone come get your mans. But yeah, we have no sound during the theme song because it's the theme song moment and it would make no sense for us to talk over it. But welcome,
we
folks.
hate to take away from that beautiful theme song.
The beautiful 8 theme songs or so that have been made for the show. This is DrawBomb. This is a show where the internet is going to be an issue, and you're just going to have to deal with that, as I have been for the last month or so. Somebody did come to fix the internet today, but they could only do so much, and clearly it was not adequate, as is obvious from some of the issues I'm having from the internet, but oh well.
The fun part is that the price of internet remains the same whether they can make it work for you or not.
Yeah, they never say, hey, I know you didn't have internet for that, like, 7-minute period. Here's a refund of that time that you paid for. Yeah. I would love to be reimbursed for my time. But, oh well, here we are.
Ian, how the hell are you?
Oh gosh, you know, it's just the same. Just the same.
Great to hear. That's not a bad thing.
But yeah.
I believe at one point you said you were good, so if you're the same as that, fantastic.
I didn't say that recently. I don't know. Did I say I was good recently? He was lying. I'm fine.
Hear that.
That's okay. How are you, Brandon?
I'm pretty good. I'm a little tired. I'm coming off the tail end of COVID, but I'm back. I'm back, baby, and better than ever.
Woo!
Yeah. So, you know, that's the reason we didn't have the show last week. I was feeling a little under the weather. I had COVID in my guts, but now,
Whoa!
Excuse me.
How dare you fart on our show like that?
Leviathan Den subscribed. They've subscribed for 21 months.
Hey,
Holy
old enough to drink.
shit. There, congratulations.
That
Yeah,
subscription's
21. You're able to drink at 21 months. I
That's
believe.
right. That's when I started.
That explains some things.
What are we drawing? We should figure that out. I don't know what you're doing. Is that a Chinese finger trap?
No, it's gonna be 2 chords, and like he's plugging in the internet, like.
Oh, I see.
I don't know, or maybe like unplugged. I don't know.
Okay then.
Flying by the seat of my pants. What were you drawing?
I was drawing a carrot DrawBomb with a good DrawBomb with a carrot body, because I had no idea what looked like a farmer. Maybe he had a mower or of some kind. I don't know.
We didn't. He has a little ball cap on.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, you got COVID. I went to the city, and then that was the week when we didn't do an episode.
We have things to catch up on. I forgot that you did that.
We've been do that.
Kind of busy doing separate things, so we, you know, stopped being friends for.
Yeah, I just said, fuck this Brandon guy. You can get lost.
He can get COVID.
He can go get a fucking disease for all I care.
And I did.
And you did. I don't know what I'm drawing still. Yeah. I'm just gonna draw a house. I'm gonna draw a background. But yeah, I went to the city. That was fun. That's my report. I went to the city.
Nice.
I didn't get COVID, but I did get
That's awesome news.
I did get sinusy and like some sort of cold of some kind since then, because the post nasal drip has been Quite awful. But I've tested twice so far, and it has not been
nice
COVID.
Drip going.
Got a nice drip going. Got that drip. You know me. I got that drip.
Non-COVID colds.
Ha. Ha. Got that drip. Yeah. So I actually have a funny story about this week and my sinuses. Here's hoping the internet sticks around long enough for me to be able to tell that story. So, you know, having issues with my sinuses, with some snot coming out of my face, things like that. And when I was living in the city by myself, I would normally, if I ran into a situation where I was getting all sinusy, I would just sort of deal, you know? I would just kind of let it run its course and just sort of suffer through it, maybe try and eat some extra foods and drink some extra fluids, but otherwise I would just kind of...
A little extra sleep.
Extra sleep, but for the most part I would just kind of deal. But since I've moved in with the parents, the family...
Meet the parents.
Meet the parents. Since I moved in with them, it's better living through chemistry with them, so they're like, go have some Sudafed for the day, and then when it's the nighttime, have some Benadryl. And so I'm like, okay. And so I've been taking some allergy medication. None of the medications are actually labeled under, like, my parents are always like, go get me the Tylenol, and I'm like, is it the one that says headache relief? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, it says Tylenol nowhere on the bottle. I have to, say the words that are on the bottle.
Black market drugs. They buy them from an alleyway.
Yeah, they get the cheap knockoffs that don't have the actual name, but they
find tablets on the ground and they look up what they are online.
And then they throw them into a little pill bottle. So, for instance, they say, go get us the whatever, the Benadryl, or some, and then I'll look and it's not on any of the bottles, and I'll have to say, is this what you mean when you refer to Benadryl? Is this what you mean when you refer, like, which one? Because none of them say Benadryl on it. Which is very frustrating because they insist on using those names instead of the names that are actually on the bottle. And then they insist on asking me to go get them, these bottles. But anyways.
Fetch the drugs.
Go get me my drugs. Go get me my medication. So, I've been taking allergy relief medication this week because of last week, because of the post-nasal drip, because of the sinus issues. And then, it was about 2 days ago, I decide that, like, I've taken some 6 hours ago, 4 hours ago, something like that. I'm gonna go take some more. And so I start taking the allergy medication out of the cupboard, and my mom's right there. And she says, that's the Benadryl. And I'm like, no, this is the Sudafed. Because one is for the day, one is for the night. And then I realized that the actual Sudafed is behind the Benadryl, a little bit tucked further back in the cabinet. And the Benadryl puts you to sleep. So
Sure do.
This whole week, I had been very sleepy, very tired, and I was like, it must be because my body is sleeping off whatever this is that I am dealing with. But no, in fact, it is the reason I slept.
Poison.
Yeah, I slept for 14 hours from Friday through Saturday because I was hopped up on Benadryl the whole time, and
it'll do that.
Yeah.
Benadryl is a sleepy one.
It'll do it. It'll put you to sleep. And it works, that's for sure. So, yeah, I could have gotten a lot more work done last week if I had only been taking the proper medication. And that's the most.
Didn't hurt ya.
No, of course the sleep was nice.
With your sickness.
Yeah. I'm still sort of getting over it, but it is a lot better than it was at the beginning of last week. I have taken 2 COVID tests, so it's not COVID, but that's been the most interesting story from my past week was the Sudafed Benadryl story.
Wow. The old switcheroo.
That's right. The old swapperoonski.
When I had COVID, I took some NyQuil one night, and boy, that shit it's pretty intense, honestly. If you wake up during the time that you're supposed to be knocked out, you pretty much feel high, at least in my experience.
Interesting.
Because you're very, like, your body is, like, the drugs make you want to sleep, and you're awake despite that, and so it's just weird. You're like, you feel
just
like
get loopy.
if you've ever felt like overtired, where you're almost like hearing sounds that aren't there. Have you ever had that?
Oh yes, I've been in college.
But yeah, that's fun. But no, COVID wasn't too bad. Just made me tired.
Mr. Tired Sleepy Man.
That's me.
But yeah, so we've both been dealing with face breathing things to some degree or another this week.
Yeah.
Let's just keep talking like the stream is still working.
Oh no, just stop.
It's got a big red bar. It's saying it's dropping a lot of frames, but who cares? We're just gonna keep on going. Cause guess what? When it shows up on Twitch, the VOD for the most part works. So that's what I'm doing. I did it for the VOD. But boy, oh boy, has there been anything you've been doing aside from surviving this virulent disease?
Yeah, we've actually been really busy. I've been over COVID now since like last, I don't know, Thursday, Friday. But this weekend I had not one, but 2 weddings to go to.
Whoa.
Back to back, which is
You're
a lot of wedding.
Practicing for yours.
Exactly. I was not invited to these. I just broke in.
Yeah.
I saw people dressed up, and I went in.
You're like, a gala. A fancy gala.
I found somebody in the bathroom. I beat them up and stole their clothes, which apparently works in things to take someone's place.
I've seen it done.
As well in family events.
No.
Because it's like, where's Mike and why are you wearing his suit?
Why are you a bald man with a barcode tattooed on the back of your head?
Exactly. I want the Hitman mission where he's just crashing a wedding.
Yeah. I feel like there is one of those actually in Hitman 3 or something like that. I feel like I saw Matt speedrun that mission at some point. But those games look fun. I haven't played any yet, but I have them apparently. But look at my Steam
they're very
library.
fun from like, I mean, I'm sure the originals were fun when they were out, but now they're kind of outdated. But if you start playing after like they rebooted them, like,
yeah,
I don't know, about
the ones by Eidos.
10 years ago now, yeah, like 7 or 8, whatever. They're very fun.
Yeah, the updated.
I can vouch for them.
I've seen I've been along with Matt on his streams when he was playing that game, and it seems like a lot of fun. There's a lot of variety in how you can tackle missions, which is pretty cool. I've also got access to some of the earlier games in that series, and even though they're outdated, I am the kind of guy who likes to go back and play like old outdated games anyways, because I don't have too much of an issue dealing with outdated gameplay for the most part, because I sort of grew up in those types of games, so it's kind of
I did too, but it's hard to every time like when we make leaps and bounds and like navigating the 3D space, it makes it hard for me to go to games that haven't quite figured it out yet.
Yeah, I did try
where
playing.
It like feels super clunky to move around.
Yeah, I did try playing Jet Set Radio, the original, not Jet Set Radio Future, which I guess is the same game but updated for Xbox or something like that, or Xbox 360. But Jet Set Radio is the one that came out on Dreamcast, I want to say. And I do have that on Steam, and I did try playing that, and I had fun with it, and the soundtrack's a banger, but that game, the movement is super duper janky in it because they just had not quite figured it out. Which is a shame because like the gameplay is the worst. Like I love everything else about that game that it's got going for it. I love like the graphics, I love the setting, I love the character designs, things like that. There's a lot of fun to be had with that game, but the fucking movement is so janky.
Yeah.
It's just difficult.
Makes it hard to play.
Yes, it does.
I know a lot of people like to play old stuff, but
yeah. But like, you know, I never played the original Witcher, but I thought I might do that on stream sometime, like the very first Witcher game.
Did you play the others?
No, none of them. I have like all 3.
Is good. I never beat it, but I played a lot of it.
I have 1, 2, and I believe 3. I think I just grabbed them on sale or got them in a bundle or something like that. But I've got at least 1 and 2. I know that. Just haven't touched them. I hear 2 is a step up, and I hear 3 is a step up from 2. But someday I'm gonna go and I'm gonna play 1. I'm gonna play it.
I'll be there in the chat watching you do that.
Oh yeah.
Leviathan Den says 21 months of pure subpar commentary. Yep.
Hell yeah,
right.
that's
what we keep
us.
coming back for. You know, we like to keep the bar right in a medium spot so that you know it's very accessible. You know.
Yeah, we will only raise the bar once there are enough people to warrant it. You guys get, the quality that is demanded out of us, which is none. So there you go.
You know, once we are able to actually stream,
yeah,
that'll be the first step towards reaching for the stars.
We might try a little harder when my internet doesn't decide to take a big steaming shit on the thing every so often.
Lotus Clock says, this bomb guy is Dr. Brown trying to connect the wires that will send the lightning bolt to the DeLorean. Yeah, something like that. That could be. And Leviathan Den says, I feel sadness. Hopefully that's based on our internet woes.
Yeah.
And not something else.
Because if it's something else, we are not qualified to deal with it. Go see therapist. Go see a therapist.
I fear we'll do more damage.
Yeah.
We try to help you.
You just called our commentary subpar. Just imagine how our therapeutic skills will be.
It's true.
They'll be even more sub.
Leviathan Den says, trust and believe that these are 100% pity subscriptions. That's great. That's what we're going for. I'm glad that, you know, the bait is being taken.
Absolutely. I mean, in the end, we still get the money. So, I mean, whether it's a pity subscription or not, I'm not gonna be mad. Still $2.50 that goes into Amazon's wallet until it equals up to $100, in which case we can cash it out.
Oh boy, speaking of which, I just sent you some dough. You got that,
I did
right?
see that actually, yes. Is that from...
Yeah, that's from our
Twitch page?
DrawBomb exploits.
Interesting. Didn't know we had reached that number quite so soon.
Oh, we sure did. Thanks to the viewers like you.
That's right. Just like you. Boy oh boy. I'm doing my best. I even went to tier 2 subscriptions. Well, you tried to go tier 3 at some point, but thank God you couldn't, because I wouldn't accept it.
A lot of pressure on us.
Yeah. $10 is already too much to be giving us.
That's true.
Ba-da-da.
I went to 2 weddings in 2 days. It was fun. One of them was one of my old friends from college, and the other one was a coworker. It's pretty swell.
What a swell time.
I put my little suit on, got all dressed up.
Did you teach them how to
dance
Dougie?
floor. I was going to, but it turned out they all knew how to Dougie already.
Ah, man.
I already know how to Dougie. Already know how to Dougie.
That's the sequel to the Dougie. That's after they've been taught.
We live in a post-Dougie world.
Post-Dougie world, that's right. Welcome to the new normal. Everyone knows the Dougie. Just gonna have to get used to it.
You can't teach anyone to Dougie anymore.
No. Do not teach me how to. Do not teach me how to Dougie. Was there any sort of grand adventures, grand Brandon adventures to be had at those weddings? Were there any sort of wild goose chases you went on? Any sort of?
There kind of were actually. At the second one, we were helping out the bride and groom with some stuff they needed. Like in the beginning, we agreed to help. They had their dog at the hotel, and they wanted them in some pictures. So like after the ceremony, there's like an hour between the ceremony and the reception when they were doing pictures. We retrieved the dog, put a bow tie on it, drove it across town to where they were taking pictures, and then drove it back. And it was a very cute dog, so I enjoyed it. But it was funny because we went to the park where they're taking pictures, and it was called Highland Park. They told us to go meet us at Highland. We got there, and all of a sudden we get a call, and they're like, "Where are you?" We're like, "We're at the park. Where are you?" And they're like, "We're at the Highlands Park, not Highland Park." So 12 minutes away across town. Right now is this thing called Art Prize in Grand Rapids, where it's like very crowded and there's a lot of people here. So we're flying down these back roads with this little dog and a bow tie, going over the speed limit to make it in time, and we did.
Nice.
And it was just funny driving around, shuttling this small dog. The dog was having a great time.
I'm picturing like a Pomeranian in my head with like a bow tie.
It's pretty close to a Pomeranian. It's not a Pomeranian, but it's like a white, fluffy. I don't know what kind of dog it is.
Maybe a Bichon Frise?
It might be. Let me Google what that looks like.
Alrighty.
Bichon.
Bichon. Hello, it is a Bichon.
May have actually.
Bichon Frise.
Right. No, it's not a Bichon. Unless it's like an off breed of it.
You can mix a Bichon with other types.
Its hair's not as curly. It doesn't have like poodle hair, but it does have like. It doesn't shed a lot, so it does have like hair that grows. You know, like its hair is closer to like a Yorkie, but it was like white.
Okay.
And it kind of looks like a Bichon. I don't know what kind of dog it was.
Most Bichon mixes I've seen do retain the curliness of the hair. The curliness of the hair seems to be a particularly passable trait among the Bichons.
Yeah. So I don't know what kind of dog it was, but I had fun because I like dogs.
And you like bow ties.
Oh man, the only thing I love more than a dog is the bow tie.
I think any dog breed that doesn't come with a bow tie is pretty lame.
You're totally right.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. But we delivered the package successfully.
The eagle landed.
And everything went good.
Nice.
We went to go get the dog out of the hotel room, and they had left Jimmy John's in the hotel room, and there was just like sandwich stuff everywhere, like shredded.
Nice.
And the dog was just hanging out.
Oh, the dog, it was eating the Jimmy John's.
He had some Jimmy John's.
Jimmy
John.
The Bichon ate the Jimmy John's.
Yes, exactly. He was just celebrating too. Only right.
He was like, this is gonna go right to my thighs. Bichon. Well, cool. I'm glad you had some adventures. Glad you had some good times.
What else? Oh yeah, Pauly Shore came to my restaurant.
Oh. How'd that go? Did he bring his band?
He has a band?
Yeah, he's got a YouTube channel where he plays music with his band, and let me tell you, it's not good.
Oh, what? I'm amazed that Pauly Shore tied himself to something that's not quality.
It's like him and then like a bunch of like 80-year-old dudes jamming out.
Funny, actually.
No, it's actually kind of cute. Like it's not like the resulting sound quality is not good, but it looks like everyone involved is just having fun, and you really can't be mad about that.
That should be the point of a band.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, unless you're like, you can only be mad about that if he's for some reason like selling out like big venues and then you're going and seeing that. But
you know,
if you're just playing with your friends, enjoy yourself.
I would argue sequence of events would determine how mad I would have to be. Were they like good, then they got famous, and then they got bad? That would make me mad. Were they bad and then they got famous and then they stayed bad? Then you know I can only be so mad. So there's a market for it then.
Exactly. I mean, I guess if you're buying tickets, you know what you're signing up for.
Yeah. It's only if like there's a drop in quality because it's clear that the artist is like, I got mine, and then they're emotionally moved on from the project. Then I think there's reason to be.
He was nice. He was just being a goofball.
Cool guy.
Doing the whole Pauly Shore bit.
Well, that's nice to hear. Actually, I would.
Yeah. He was just joking around and stuff. There's this place that has a comedy club in it that closed down over the summer due to change in ownership, and we weren't sure, and it just reopened.
Mm-hmm.
And the one server asked him like, "Oh, are you in town for the grand opening of so and so?" And he's like, "Do you think they would invite me to a grand opening of anything?" So he's kind of self-aware of his place in the world at the moment.
I would be really surprised if Pauly Shore was like a stuck-up dickhead, because he's got no station in life to be a stuck-up dickhead. Right. Like he's not like
maybe
a
he was
Smith.
At one point, but
yeah, maybe that's why he fell so hard off the fame train. But if he's cool now, I mean, I don't know. I'm happy to hear whenever a famous person is chill.
Due to my very limited sample size of Pauly Shore, he seems all right.
Well, here's the thing. They always say how somebody treats their server at a restaurant is a good litmus test for how somebody sort of treats other people in life, because the server is sort of at your mercy, you know? So,
his server she's like 21, so she had no idea who he was.
Oh, wow.
But I'm sure he was not,
Yeah. If he's nice to his server, then he's probably gonna be a good person in general. I mean that obviously doesn't hold up true 100% of the time.
It is a good litmus test.
Yeah, because it's just like sort of when somebody's job is to sort of dote on you, like how do you treat them, and
right.
Yeah.
Leviathan Den says, let's see here. That reminds me of my nun story. Hey, look, nuns. He was telling me that he was hanging out with a buddy somewhere, and there was just a group of nuns, and they felt like this one buddy in particular was like basically reacting to them in the same way that you might if you saw like a rare beast or something.
Just like never seen a nun in the wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
You don't see nuns in the wild that often.
They're actually wearing their habits.
Yeah. Dressed like like nuns. Those nuns are dressed like nuns.
Oh, dude. Never seen it. It is kind of, it's sort of like in Philadelphia, you get like these occasions, sort of like every certain specific months out of the year, where like these Buddhist monks come from I don't know where, but they start begging in the streets, and they usually have some dudes like make these beautiful mandalas in various arts centers and things like that. But you get a lot of dudes begging on the streets too, just sort of like standing on the sidewalk, and then you pass by and they like try and give you like some pretty like shiny piece of like notebook paper or something, or like some like looks like a bookmark, and then you're like,
seen that at the airport.
Yeah. And then you take it, and then they open like a book, and they're basically asking you for money then for the thing they just handed you, and you're like, oh, here, you have it back.
Yeah, Sorry. I don't want this thing.
Yeah, I didn't know.
And Leviathan Den did just remind me, it was nuns at Best Buy, which is even probably a rarer sight.
That is, were they getting a DVD? Like, were they getting a Blu-ray? Like, what
they were in the PlayStation aisle.
Yeah, trying to get Last of Us 2.
They're playing the sample PlayStation that they leave out for you to play.
They're playing Resident Evil Village.
Oh, I thought I turned that off. Leviathan Den, that cult totem thing, it's for a game that you can interact with while I play.
You were doing
I turned it off, I thought, but apparently it's back. But yeah, I'm gonna do it on the stream at some point, and then it'll be fun. Fun times will be had.
Fun times were had by all. Yeah, it's one of those games that has the Twitch interaction, right? Like it can.
Yep. I believe so. That's how it's supposed to work, anyways.
Fancy schmancy.
What else?
So you didn't see any nuns, just a dog in a bow tie.
Yes, no nuns. I did see a dog in a bow tie. I shuttled him around like a taxi service. It was great.
Nice. Living the dream.
That's right. that cat. I don't know if I talked about in the stream at all because it happened.
You have
quick.
not. No, you got the cat, I think, between COVID episodes.
Yes, I've just been very busy with lots of things. So yeah, we
Sure have.
there was a pregnant cat hanging out outside our house, and we decided we found a shelter that could take it, like a foster home that will then like take care of them until they're old enough, and then find homes for them and get all the shots and fixing them and all that done.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But they we found this cat, and they basically said they could take it, but it'd be a couple weeks because they had to move some cats around, and so they're like, but here's a cat. You kind of have to take the cat in the meantime, so it doesn't have babies outside. Because once it does, you're not gonna be able to catch it. Because you know, you might not get all the babies, and then they'll be left alone, and it's this whole thing. Mm-hmm. We're like, okay, so let's bring the cat in. So we brought this cat in, and she's very sweet, and she gave birth 2 days after we brought her in, so we got her in just the nick of time. She was like a little walking basketball. She's like a small cat to begin with, but she was very round. She gave birth to 5 cats, so we've had kittens in the house. I was actually last week, if I wouldn't have been sick, I was planning on rigging up my other camera so we could have like an actual real critter cam. I could press a button and like, look on the kitties, but they're gone now.
No critter cam for us. They've been sacrificed to the cult of the lamb gods.
Exactly. Somebody pressed the totem button, and it accidentally sacrificed the kittens. So I shouldn't have had that. It's a shame. No, but the foster home took them, so.
And the foster home is holding on to Pepper in the meantime until like the cats can sort of nurse on Pepper.
Yeah, they need mom. The cats can't be separated until a certain amount of weeks because they rely on her for all their food and also their like initial socialization. They need to be around other. If you take a cat fresh out of the womb and you don't let it be around other cats, you're probably gonna have a bit of an asshole cat because it won't learn when not to use its claws, and it won't learn, you know, basic functioning member of society things. You'll have a psychopath usually, not always. But. So you want to leave them with their brothers and sisters and their mom for a little while so they can learn some stuff, and also so they're healthy because they need to feed from her and stuff like that.
Of course.
So, but then after the case, you're probably gonna get her back because we're a couple of suckers and she's cute. Three cats, and we've got a kitten that we're dealing with as well. We're the kitten. We're just up to 3 cats too.
Yeah, we're up to 3 cats now. We have Cookie. She is really in heat lately.
Oh boy, is she fixed?
We have an appointment. We've had an appointment to get her scheduled this Friday for like 2 weeks now. But they're just, you know, this has been the soonest we've been able to sort of schedule an appointment. So, for the most part, she was fine. But lately, oh boy, that cat is in heat.
That's a horny cat.
She's fucking horny, man. Like, I woke up this morning, like, you know, when you think of a cat in heat, if you've ever dealt with a cat in heat before, you get a lot of just wow, wow, wow. They're very loud. They have what I like to call, or I don't like to call it this, but it is accurate. It's a horny meow, and they just croon throughout the day, just going.
They try to escape too, sometimes.
They get feisty. Their behavior changes quite drastically. It's pretty dramatic. So this cat, you know, she's pretty cute. She's a cute little kitty, but So speaking of the Sudafed and the Benadryl, I did try to take a Benadryl at night last night, so I would go to bed at a normal time, but still have the allergy relief. And the shit did not kick in for a while. Like the one time it doesn't kick in. So I was up till about 5:30 in the morning until I finally got tired. And then I woke up 2 hours later to fucking Cookie just going wow, wow, wow.
Gotta crush up some Benadryl and give it to her.
Yeah, I gotta, you know, take some Dynatap, give it to the kitten. But I brought her into my room and she shut up, which was interesting enough. I took her out of like the large open space and brought her into a confined space, and she sort of realized like, well, I'm not gonna get my rocks off in here.
This place has killed my mojo.
Yeah, this is a she basically views my room as a prison. Like, she gets mad because like I've had to bring her, because also cats that have not been fixed, they do a butt wiggle. It's a little butt wiggle that tells you that they're trying to spray, and it only results in not actual spray if they're just young enough. So thankfully Cookie hasn't quite approached the age where her body will.
That'd be no bueno.
Yeah, she hasn't quite started producing the spray yet, but I can see her butt wiggling constantly. She's trying to mark the place up. So hopefully we get
gentlemen callers.
Yeah, she's trying. She's really trying to. She's trying to live the Sex and the City life in our little home here.
Did she start writing a blog?
She did. She's a real Samantha. But yeah, she's going through it right now. And anytime I go to pet her,
very nice of you guys to bring her in.
Yeah, but anytime I go to pet her, she just like flattens against the ground and then kicks her butt up in the air, and it's just like, no, I'm not your boy for that. No, that's not me. I'm not your boy.
No, that's not. I can't help you with that.
Not what I'm here for. I'm here to give you pets and nothing more. Only light petting, not the heavy variety. So I'm really looking forward to getting this cat fucking fixed because I'm tired of it already.
Yeah.
Cat
yeah,
problems.
So the kittens are now in this foster home, and so is Peppa.
Peppa the mom.
Yeah.
She's named Pepper because she's got black fur.
Right, and we're basic at naming animals.
Yeah.
It was 10 out of 10. It was a rewarding situation. She did all the work, so it was not too bad.
There you go. I mean, you did a lot of the work for Teddy, if I remember correctly. I mean, you're the one who basically rescued Teddy from the store across the street.
That cat was like, probably should have been on formula still. Like, it was little.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one needed a lot more help. This one, she did everything. We just had to feed her, and then she popped the babies out. She took care of them. Sometimes you'll get like moms that don't want to do the stuff, so you have to like then feed the cats and you have to do all this stuff. But nope, she did everything, made it very easy for us. Good to go.
2 baby kittens, well actually technically 7 total baby kittens rescued from the harsh weather, brought into loving homes.
We kept her separate from our other cats because mom cats will be very, very protective, and also we didn't know how other cats would act. Theo, I could see him being a dickhead, but 2 other cats, not just in general. He's a bully. But at one point, we have the cats locked in this room, and Theo would sit outside the door just because like he could tell we're in here and stuff like that, and he would just like lay out there. And one time Morgan was coming out, and the mom saw Theo sitting in the hallway and like hissed really loud at him, and he just got up and started to like leave. He's like, "Oh fuck, I don't want to." And she then, even though he was leaving, she then like a missile launched between Morgan's legs out the door and just like body slammed Theo on the ground and was like,
"Oh my gosh!"
Like screaming, like, you know how cats yell.
Oh yeah.
Theo just ran and hid. He's like, "Fuck this." You want no part of it. Poor man.
Cookie's been a little bit of a bitch to our one dog Juno. It's very funny. We have Juno and we have Isaac, and Isaac has been the scaredy dog.
It's a good name for a dog.
It is. Yeah. Well, and you know, for our last name being Newton.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. That makes sense.
So we got Isaac, and he's an old motherfucker. He's deaf. He might as well be blind. He's senile. That dog is like the fact that the dog survived past 2020 was a surprise to us. Like, we had made arrangements to like the dog was gonna die like shortly after I arrived home, and then he started eating food again, and then it was fine. So we were like, oh, Okay.
Caught wind of what was going down, and he's like, "Oh shit, I better
Oh man, they think I'm gonna
get a little pep in my
die.
step." Or
So
they're gonna
he's
give me the infinite Benadryl.
yeah. So he stopped losing weight and fur and started being sort of, and like he's sort of like, we're still sort of just waiting any day now for us to like walk in and like he's just dead in his kennel or something like that. He's very old. He's very
What kind
out
of dog
of
is
it.
he?
I don't know. A big black shaggy dog.
Like a mutt.
I don't know. I truly don't know. I was not there for any of the process of them getting him. I just showed up at the house one day when I was living, like they got him when I was living in Philly, so I'd like visit the parents one day and then there's like a new dog and I'm like, "Oh, hey."
Is he a shaggy dog like in Tim Allen's The Shaggy Dog?
Yeah, if you look in his
he
eyes,
have
he's
eyes
got
like that?
photoshopped human eyes on his face.
I'd
It's
put
quite
that dog down
horrifying.
immediately.
That's why we tried, but no, but so Isaac has always been the scaredy dog though. Like he has been afraid of everything and anybody his entire life. Although in his old age, I think he's just forgotten to be afraid. I mean, he's still a little bit afraid of people, but he just kind of, I think he's too slow in movement. Like it takes him like a minute to walk across a room. And he can't run, so I think he just forgets to be afraid shortly after he sort of has that initial knee-jerk reaction to be afraid of his shadow.
Can't make it,
for instance.
fake it.
That's right. But Juno, the newer dog, the younger, spry one, who's sort of big, he likes to cuddle, he likes to snuggle. He's a big crazy dog, Juno. He's not a big crazy dog. He's a tiny crazy dog, but he's got a lot of energy. But he is terrified of Cookie. And it's funny that like Cookie will just completely leave Isaac alone. Like Isaac, she just like they'll like stare at each other.
It's like,
And then
he's an
move
old
on.
man.
Yeah. Isaac's not doing anything.
Respects her elders.
She does, and then Juno, she'll see Juno, and she'll like stalk him for like 3 minutes, and then finally like, like, sort of attack him like a little bitch, just being real mean. So Juno's now like just cowering from the cat all the time, and we do think that she'll sort of stop being such a bitch to Juno once she gets fixed, because yeah.
Probably. It like lowers their temperament a little bit.
Yeah, they get a little bit less antsy about everything. I'm not saying it's going to be an end-all, be-all fix to... It's not a panacea, but it does... you would be surprised about the amount of behavioral issues a good spaying will do for a cat. But yeah, so we're just kind of... it's just funny to see the dichotomy.
You need that permanent post-nut clarity.
That's right. That shame that comes with, you know, when you've done your thing, when you've done your business, and you're just like, my God, what have I done?
You feel that permanently.
Yep. That's sort of what it's like.
We had the one cat fixed, and the paperwork from the vet described it as permanently altered. And I was like, oh, that's a weird like dystopian way to describe it.
It is, yeah. They ain't wrong. But,
True, but you know.
When you phrase it like that, it is kind of weird, like, that we have... I thought about it recently, but I thought it was strange how, like, there's, like, technology and science has come along such a way where doctors, like, you know, animal doctors can, like, specify what they need to do to basically stop this animal's instincts to, like, be in heat, to try and mark territory, to do all these things. They just, like, they laser focused on it, and they know how to, like, remove it. It's an interesting, I don't know.
Pretty strange.
I was like, what was the process?
I think it's good.
Who had the time in, like, the 1950s or 40s or something like that, like, among everything else that was going on? They were just like, hey, you know what? Figured out how to make our cats less horny. Like, it's such a... The steps to get to there are intriguing to me.
That person figured it out was he was you know, people kind of switched to the other side of the sidewalk when they saw him coming. So he's talking about that, trying to figure that out. But when he finally figured it out, you know, people were like, all right.
Yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about.
You're invited to the barbecue again. Turns out you're not that big of a creep.
You know, when he said he could remove the nuts, we were like, no problem, I see the nuts right there. But when he said he could fix the female cats, then we were like, this guy is crazy. What a wacko.
It is pretty wild. They're able to fix a cat at 5 months or something, or less.
Yeah,
it's
something like that,
teeny. They're like a little kitten.
This
but I mean, cats
baby
can reproduce like super.
I mean, Cookie had kittens and she's only like 8 months, something like that. So
exactly, and they're only pregnant for a little over 2 months, which is insanity.
And the litter, I mean, your cat gave birth to 5 cats at once.
Yeah, and that's not even like. They often do way more than that.
Yeah, they don't just cook up a kitten. They cook up a litter. They cook up like 3 to 6 frequently. So it's
a lot of species at their evolutionary track to survive was just have 1 million babies. Like rabbits, like they're like the bottom of the food chain. So that their only survival is be fast and breed like fast.
Breed like you guys do. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, humans, I mean, that was sort of the way for humans for a while. Like my dad, I mean, I'm not saying like my grandma like gave birth to a bunch of kids to like work in the factories or something like that. But my dad's got like 5 brothers, or, you know, he had a brother and 3 sisters, something like that. Yeah, I mean,
not even necessarily factories, but like chores around the house, stuff like that. People who lived on farms, you're like, all right, I need hands. Let's get some babies so they can toil in the fields.
A lot of folks had a lot of brothers and sisters back in the day, because you know, it was just like, you might die from a wolf, so you gotta get
Scarlet fever is gonna get a few of you.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know if y'all heard about this here measles thing, but it's looking pretty serious. Hope somebody invents a vaccine soon.
I don't believe in it.
Yeah,
that vaccine is the scam.
Years and years of scientific advancements and you know, people who are way smarter and more qualified than me, fuck it. Let's bring measles back.
Not convincing to me. Yeah. Hey, you know what I miss? Measles.
I miss iron lungs.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, what a fashion statement. My favorite Radiohead song.
Iron Lungs?
Yeah. Well, there's a Radiohead. My Iron Lung is what it's called, I think.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry, I forgot to study up my Radiohead before this episode.
God damn it.
You gave me one assignment.
I told you to know that iron lungs are singular. And that
I'm gonna do a really good joke, so make sure you listen to this.
Make sure you listen to The Bends by Radiohead, and just as extra credit, maybe check out OK Computer. You can do In Rainbows, but I gotta warn you, the only reference I'm gonna make to In Rainbows is Body Snatchers, okay? I'm not as familiar. And if we're talking Kid A, don't even get me started on Kid A, okay?
I almost forgot you were a Radiohead head.
Yeah, I'm a Radiohead head. Yeah, you know. I've radioed a head or two.
I don't mind me some Radiohead. I'm not well versed, but
I think they're a great band. What's a band you've gotten into? We don't talk music. We always go like TV, video games, movies. But we don't really. I mean, we've done music once or twice.
Music's a hard one for me. But
Music's, yeah. I mean, it's.
I listen to.
Do you seek out like new music frequently, or do you like?
Not as frequently as I would like to.
Okay.
I don't know. Spotify has helped me branch out a little more than I used to, but I still feel like I don't I'm kind of under a rock when it comes to newer music and new stuff. I'm always trying to find new stuff, but I'm not very good at it.
Gotcha.
I would say.
Has there been any bands, like any newer bands that you've sort of become aware of recently, at least that you can think of? You don't have to have an answer for this question. Just trying to poke the brain. I know
that I know that you ask me stuff, and I sometimes just like, I don't know.
I feel like but like the thing is, I feel like you would have
trying to be better.
I feel like you would have an answer if we weren't on the show. Like if we were just like talking, and I was like, "Hey, you checked out any bands?"
A lot of times, yes, but this one I'm not so sure. Let me think about it for a second. How about you? Anything new?
I mean, I wouldn't describe, like, I wouldn't say anything new. I mean, just like sort of catching up on artists I haven't heard before. One I've really been sort of into lately is somebody called Windows 96.
I like that.
Yeah, they make vaporwave basically, or I would call it vaporwave. It's very sort of it's very reminiscent of like that 80s sort of sound. I mean, vaporwave is really, if you know what vaporwave sounds like, they pretty much fit that almost to a T. Although they're not quite floral shop vaporwave, maybe they're more synthwave, I would say, because vaporwave sort of calls to mind like heavy sampling based sort of stuff, whereas synthwave is maybe more original instrumentation. And I would say that Windows 96 is definitely more original. I don't even know if they use samples in Windows 96. It seems to be all original sort of synth work and things like that. But yeah, very, very enjoyable, very relaxing, like chill vibes.
I like that. That's kind of what a lot of the newer music I like is kind of, I would describe it that way.
Yeah. I would recommend checking out Windows 96. I don't know the name of the album. I think it's called like One or Something Mornings, but they have a song that I've particularly had in my head as of late called Caligula. So if you check out Windows 96, check out their song Caligula, and then find the rest of the album that fucking song is on, and then listen to that album. It's gonna be a good time if you like some chill synthwave, if you like some chill vibes.
Okay, I will listen to that. Might put some on in the background right now.
Yeah, go for it. And other than that, I mean, I haven't. So like I do find a lot of new artists, but it's not too many of them where I'm like. I like either they don't have a substantial catalog. Like when I find new artists, I do find a lot through Anthony Fantano's YouTube channel, but I also find a lot through my Spotify Weekly, which is actually how I found out.
How you kind of find a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, actually, lately it's been the Spotify Weekly, the Discover Weekly playlist on Spotify. They seem to, like if I'm sort of just going through and listening to music that I like, the Discover Weekly will have pretty good results for that following Monday, which is how I discovered Windows 95. It's how I discovered the other band I've been sort of into, which I've been into them since last year. I'm still talking about Psychic Mirrors, but their stuff's really good too. They're very sort of disco funk, sort of neo soul sounds, kind of they're also a very sort of reminiscent sound, kind of mixed with modern aesthetics. Yeah, so, they have a song called like Bells of St. Christopher, which I think fucking slaps. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my Discover Weekly is kind of shitty because I think my taste is too eclectic. It breaks it.
No, my taste is I think it depends, because like my taste is pretty eclectic too, and like sometimes my Discover Weekly does get underwhelming results, but I find that I get that if I'm like branching out too much, like because like I don't think the Discover Weekly. I think they base the Discover Weekly based on music that you have just strictly played through Spotify. So if you've like tried out some songs but you realize you don't like those songs so much, that's still kind of going into the algorithm as like music you might want to sort of hear along the lines of in your Discover Weekly. So if I really want to make sure my Discover Weekly like gives me good results on Monday, I'll like go through and find and like listen to a bunch of artists who I do like, and then usually that week the playlist will be catered more closely to sort of those artists specifically.
Mine gives me weird shit. It'll be like some like 80s pop song that I like already have like listen to a bunch of times and have it in my thing, and then it will be like some weird like Frank Zappa-esque thing where it's like a guy screaming and like banging a guitar against something to make music, and then the next one will be like 50s like like music, and I'm just like, what the fuck is all this? Like,
That's funny.
This is too eclectic. It's too eclectic.
Yeah, if you branch out too far in like a short amount of time, your Spotify will sort of get a little confused. But I've had a lot of decent luck with my Spotify weekly. Like I said, that's how I found Psychic Mirrors, who they make bangers. That's how I found out about Windows 96. I found out about this other guy who I would actually recommend listening to. Let me see if I can find his name real quick. It's like...
In the meantime, one way that I have been finding some new music is, I forget what it's called. I'm subscribed on YouTube, but there's this big record store in, I think, LA or something, or I forget where it's at. But basically they just interview celebrities who are in their shop and ask them what, like, I think they're basically like, here's a bag, fill it with as much as you can, we'll give it to you for free, and then let us interview you and explain what you picked.
Yeah.
And so you hear just like some different musicians and actors and things explain what they like, and I've found some cool stuff from that I've never heard of.
What's it called again? Like, what is it?
Let me look it up real quick.
Okay. I've been listening to a lot of a band called the Polynesians, but they mostly do like slide guitar Hawaiian type music, like the kind you would imagine. Like if you were like chilling on a Hawaiian beach. That's sort of like the they were my summer playlist, sort of, just kind of playing Hawaiian vibes.
The series is called What's in My Bag, and the YouTube channel is called Amoeba, because it's like a Amoeba record store, I think is what it's called. But
interesting.
But yeah, What's in My Bag by Amoeba. It's kind of interesting. I mean, it's hit or miss, because just because you respect somebody as a musician or actor doesn't mean they have good music taste. But sometimes you find some interesting stuff you would have never heard of. Yeah,
I mean, I said I listen to, like, I watch Anthony Fantano's videos pretty much anytime he comes out with a new review. I check it out, even if I don't have any intentions. Especially because of the whole Drake drama.
I mean, that happened like right as I started watching his stuff, so it's kind of a happy accident. But yeah, since that one night that we stayed up watching his videos for like a couple hours, then I was like, okay, I like this. This is kind of chill.
Oh, cool. I'm glad I could turn you on to him. I've been listening to a lot of throwback type music lately. Is really what I'm noticing. If I can find this guy, he makes like very weird, funky, like sort of odd sounding stuff. Oh yeah, William Onyebor. He's also great. I've been really enjoying his shit. Oh, Pipe Eye is one guy I've been listening to, who I'm actually really enjoying his stuff.
Pipe Eye the Sailor Man?
Pipe Eye the Sailor Man, that's right. He's got a song called Trust Fund Baby, which is sort of what first got me sort of listening to him. But yeah, I recommend Pipe Eye, Windows 96, and Psychic Mirrors. That's your recommendation. And I've been recommending Psychic Mirrors for about a year, so I'm still kind of slow to the take.
Double Rocket is here. Says, hello, I'm here. Cool art. Thank you. Welcome. She says, what is the story behind this image? Fuck, I missed it. The story is we've been having internet issues on the show for weeks now.
Yeah, about a month.
And so we're just illustrating our pain.
Yes.
That's us inside burning alive.
Yeah, that's our pain.
Because everybody knows we film this show from one house, and so we have separate rooms. We're not in the same room. There's a wall between us.
If we get in the same room, we start to hiss at each other, and it turns into a fight.
That's true.
We gotta like leave the door cracked so we can kind of get used to each other's scent.
Right. We like paw at each other from underneath the door.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
But yeah, I mean, we haven't completely, I mean, aside from in the very beginning and occasional, like, little tiny drops, but, like, lately with me testing out the internet, the thing would go, like, I would get a pop-up that says, like, OBS has lost internet connection. And I'm like, oh, no. I haven't gotten that yet, knock on wood. Like, I tried just streaming myself, just working on the comic for a little bit, doing one of my focus streams where I'm not, like, on the camera, it's just me working on the art, playing some music. and 3 times in the first hour, like it just completely dropped the internet for up to 5 minutes at a time.
And that was just you too, so it's like not that stressful.
Yeah. And it was like a still image for the most part too. Like not a lot was happening on the screen. So definitely, I mean, when we called them, they were like, yeah, there's an issue with the router. And when we talked to the guy, he was like, yeah, there's been issues. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on the situation, but we'll probably have to call back. Just judging on sort of patterns I'm seeing with. It's not the worst. It could be worse, but it's not perfect. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh well. Gosh, I think we sure did set this house on fire.
Sure did. I'm surprised. Not surprised, but I was thinking, and we don't have to change this, but maybe inside the windows there could be some fire in there.
I thought about that. It seemed redundant. I wasn't sure.
You're like, obviously the house is on fire.
Yeah, I was like, the house is on fire. Like, if their arms are in the air, they don't necessarily need to be actively on fire in the windows. And
I suppose that's fair.
Still comes across. It might be.
I'm not. Does that count as redundancy when, like, I'm just saying, like, if the entire house is engulfed, the inside's probably engulfed too.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know.
But you don't have to change it.
I'm not gonna.
That's good.
Because then I have to draw extra lines.
You know, I respect your competence, your decision to reject any and all criticism from a peer. I like it. It's good.
That's me.
That's what makes a good artist, I think.
I don't listen.
You know, back in my days in art school, the students that really went far were the ones that immediately shut down anytime anyone tried to give them any tips or pointers or ask any questions about their choices.
Absolutely. The mark of
That's a good move.
Mark of a genius.
You know, who needs personal growth?
Yeah. To be fair, though, I mean, some of my teachers did just straight up give terrible advice, and I would have probably had a better education if I hadn't entirely listened to them sometimes. If I'd stuck to my convictions.
There has to be a balance. If you're rejecting the criticism, you should explain why.
Yeah, you have to have a reason.
It wasn't always that way. A lot of times, people were just like, "No, that's how I wanted it," and it's like, okay, but why? Why'd you want it that way? Tell us why, and then we'll let you keep it that way.
If I have a criticism for somebody and then they say why the choice they made is different from mine, and if they have like if it's a good reason, I'll be like, oh,
as long as it's intentional, then sure, do it.
Because
it's art. You can do anything you want, but make it intentional. Yeah, that's
ultimately when you do a critique too. That is ultimately what you want to sort of critique from the lens of is what was the intent. Because like you can look at somebody's creation and like name a bunch of things that you would change that you would personally like if you made the project. But if somebody's intention is this is like the subject, this is what this is about, you want to sort of critique coming from that angle so that you can sort of, you're not trying to like turn it into what you would make. You're trying to more help them hone their voice.
Yeah, because ultimately it's their piece. What they want to be is, it's not what you make, it's what they made. So yeah, but just be intentional about the things you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I will, like if I'm gonna give a critique, I'm gonna try and tell them, I'm gonna try and see what they're trying to accomplish with the scene, and I'm gonna try and give ways that they can, convey their message more successfully. But and instead of like the thing about your movie is. It's a drama. It's a very serious drama. I'm a big fan of comedy. What if you made it a like, that's not a helpful critique, honestly.
I know, but and that's funny because some people don't understand that and make do that too as the one doing the critiques. So.
Oh yeah.
People are dumb on both sides, but not me, is what I'm saying.
We're always good. Right. We do it right.
This is episode 123.
That is true. You're right. 1, 2, 3. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. It's easy. Just do that over and over. Speaking of 1, 2, 3, I can count to 3. And
Great
beyond.
job, man.
Thank you.
You finally figured it out. You've been struggling with that for a while.
It was truly my.
It used to be like 1, 2, and like 4. Sometimes you'd do that, and I'd be
It
like,
was my
no, bro,
Everest.
no.
Bro. 1 followed by 2 followed by 3.
Yeah, you know, yeah, you got it. Don't question yourself, man.
Yeah, and beyond that, that's the advanced lesson.
Yeah, that's for the
It's for wise guys.
Advanced students.
Wise guys.
You done with this drawing?
Yeah, I'm done.
Alright, I saved it.
Alrighty.
Let's move on.
1, 2, 3. Should we take a break real quick?
I'm done for a quick break. I do
Alright,
kind of have to
I know you gotta
skedaddle
go
around
out.
10 o'clock.
You got a hard out tonight.
We gotta pick some people up. We've got to meet the parents. We gotta pick up Morgan's parents from a concert. They're at a Gordon Lightfoot show.
Picking Robert De Niro up from a Gordon Lightfoot show, folks. You heard it here first.
Hey, can you milk me?
Hey, circle of trust.
Get it?
No.
You talking to me?
Oh, you milking me? What? Why milk? Huh? What? Anyways, be right back. Whoa, we dropped all those frames during the BRB. How perfect. All right.
There's frames all over the floor.
Hey.
Oh God, I'm gonna have to get my broom to clean up these frames.
Look at all these frames we dropped. I'm sure it looks like the amount of frames it said it dropped and the percentage it was equaling out to. It looked like we did just straight up lose connection for a hot second.
Mine went off on my end, but I don't know. You know, it's not always.
Did you get like
same.
did you get the picture of the guy going like
No, it didn't quite get to get that. It just said like network error, like where the screen goes like gray, and you have to usually just reload it. Sometimes it's on my end, so that's why I didn't know.
No, it was on it was definitely we were losing a lot of frames, and it was saying like you've lost 1,000 frames. That is 50%, and I'm like, we've definitely streamed more than 1,000 frames here, so I don't know.
Yeah, we're easily in like the 2000s of frames.
We are hitting so many frames.
How many frames do you think we've streamed over the years?
So many frames.
Wow.
Whoops, wrong
That's a lot
button.
of frames.
That's a lot of frames. He just left with frames. What should we? So we decided on our BRB that we were gonna do a rock paper pencil. We haven't done a rock paper pencil in at least 20 episodes. I want to say.
Not an official one. Sometimes we'll draw the same thing.
Yeah, but nothing that we've
But not
officially.
quite. This, you know, not like this. So, it's good to be back.
It's good to you know, come back to the classics. In the meantime, we should figure out what the prompt is going to be for such a rock paper pencil.
True.
Someone in the chat wants to name a rock paper pencil subject. Be my guest.
People in the chat.
People in the chat. My thinking was something related to nothing. I was hoping I would have an idea, and I was hoping I would
do that
say
so
this.
often.
This sort of
Start a sentence hoping the end will find me before I get there.
Sometimes it works.
It does. It works often enough that I try it a lot.
It's the method you choose.
It never worked. I wouldn't do it now, would I?
Okay, how about this? Is it, should it be a character? Like maybe we draw an interpretation of the same character of some kind?
Okay. Do you have a character in mind? Or are you just trying to narrow it down a little bit?
Just narrowing it down just as much as I can.
Okay. Like a character that already exists or a type of... Well, I guess it shouldn't... Unless we're changing the base design, it shouldn't be something that already exists.
Yeah, it should be, like, Internet Man or some, you know, something goofy that we could do an interpretation of.
Let me see here. Drawing prompts. Ooh, this is groovy. Listening to Windows 96.
You liking it? You
This
digging
kinda,
it?
I do. I'm really into like synthy, chill music these days. Like if I'm not listening to like older stuff, that's the type of music I like. Like kind of weird, like I don't know. It's kind of slower, kind of chill. I don't know how to describe it. I'm sure some people are better at coming up with the right terms, but I don't have those words.
Would you describe it as like maybe an ambient jam sort of situation?
Yeah, I would. I like it as like almost like background music.
That's what I've been listening to a lot of Windows 96 when I'm just like hanging out outside reading a book. You know, just kind of something to have kind of like fill up some brain space with some nice tunes while I'm, you know, my brain is really occupied with whatever book I'm reading at the time.
Have you been reading anything good lately?
I mean, I haven't, I wouldn't say I've gotten any reading done lately just because I've been so busy that anytime I spent reading, I just think immediately like I should be working. So unfortunately, no, I haven't read any. Like I started reading House of Leaves. I did receive that, and then I was talking about how, you know, what books I like to read on one of my streams a few months back, and then the very next morning I got House of Leaves in the mail from one of my viewers. Thank you very much, Denise. But I started to read that. But, you know, I got busy, and so I haven't had a chance to finish it. But before I started reading House of Leaves, I had to finish I Heard You Paint Houses, which is what they based the movie The Irishman.
How'd you like it in the end? I feel like you've been on that one for a while.
I was on it for, well, I started, so like 2020 to 2021, I was reading a couple of books, and like, I think I've said the story a couple times, but I'm just gonna go through it again. Well, let's figure out before I go down a story.
Okay, fair, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm using
How about what would
artprompt.com.
What
but I'm
would
open to something if you have it.
I want to say like what would a person who makes Windows 96 music sound like, but or look like a robot version of a person, but that's kind of requires the
specific.
Person. Yeah, it's very specific. Requires
and
the
also,
person to have.
it's a band that people probably don't know about or might not yet.
I mean, they can easily check it out on YouTube or whatever, but you know, it is still very. Yeah, you could, if you don't have Spotify, check out Windows 96, Pipe Eye. What was the other one? Psychic Mirrors. Check them out on YouTube as well as Spotify. They're all great. I've been vibing to them. How's it about?
I'm just going through prompts. A sheep in wolf's clothing, but that's pretty specific. A drawing
specific, yeah. You know, I wish we had Tom Thinks. Tom Thinks has like a drawing generator that he coded.
I know.
He codes all of his shit himself, so it's all like perfect for exactly.
I wonder if we can create
needs.
something like that without too much effort, because it's just you need a system that you can put in the inputs and then roll a dice. I feel like that could be. There's probably something online that already has that.
There probably is. I know Kyle.
We should track that down.
Kyle knows coding enough that he could probably throw some stuff together, but I wouldn't want him to do work for us for free.
I'd pay him to do something like that.
I mean, the goal would be to pay people to make all like a whole bunch of shit for us to really make this show its own thing.
Yeah, maybe I'll talk to him about that.
Yeah. I know Tom makes his stuff in Flash 3. Or ActionScript 3, yeah. Not Flash 3, but you know, the ActionScript 3, which is with Adobe Animate. How about this? We're both gonna say a word, and we'll just figure out a way to combine them. And your word...
Does it matter if it's a noun?
Nope, just a word that you think wouldn't fuck up our chances at trying to come up with a prompt.
Okay. Just say a word.
I'm thinking of what I'm gonna say. Okay. Say your word first.
Milk.
Monster.
All right, I like Milk Monster. I'll draw
There we
Milk
go.
Monster.
Bada bing, bada boom.
All right. You don't need computers. You have computer up here.
We got the world's fastest computer, the real quantum computer.
Wow. God's design never stops impressing me.
It's just like
Except for
that
the
Drake
part
song.
That makes me.
Mad at Anthony Fantano.
Milk Monster.
Milk monster.
Alright, so hide my layers, I'll hide yours.
Alrighty, Rooney.
Did you say you had a way to do this where the viewers can see everything?
Well, they do
That's
because on the one that's actually being broadcast, it's a different screen, so both layers are actually visible.
So I'm gonna minimize the window because I do
Yeah,
tend
you
to
don't
have
wanna...
the stream up just to make sure it's working. So.
I am also going to turn off the preview.
You'll just have to keep an eye on the chat in case anyone says. Other than that.
Here. All right, draw a milk monster.
I will. What is the milk monster? I don't know.
So just to talk about books for a hot second, because I always be talking about books.
I would like to do like a DrawBomb like book club once you have a little more time on your hands.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I do like reading, and I would like to sort of be... So when I was working in Philly, we had regulars at the restaurant I worked at, and they actually started a book club at the restaurant, amongst themselves, like a bunch of regulars amongst themselves, people who I'd gotten to know, and the one guy was the Ian that we met when we were in Philly.
Right.
I actually reconnected with him when I was in Philly this week, or last weekend, I guess, which was very cool to see him again. He seems to be doing well. It's very nice to see that he's taken to the pandemic life. It didn't some people got their lives really ruined or shifted in some awful ways from the pandemic, but Ian seemed to, come out on the other side of it pretty decently. But they started a book club, and it's actually still been going like 4 years later, which is very cool. Or I guess, pandemic's been like 2 years, or 3 years, I guess, but they started it.
3 now.
Yeah, but I guess I left the restaurant before pandemic. Like I started working there, I want to say, actually, a couple years. Because I started working at the bank then, but...
yeah, you were at the bank for a while before pandemic.
But, they apparently, they started the book club while I was working at the restaurant, and it's nice to see that it's still going strong all these years later. Very cool. So anyways, yeah, I met up with Ian, and that was cool. Caught up, had some drinks, we caught up, we talked about life and stuff like that. That was very nice. He is a person who gave me, or they let me borrow Sandman Volume 1 and then Sandman Volume 2. And then I happen to be holding on to their copy of Sandman, like the big ass tomes. I happen to be
the first couple of those.
Yeah, I happen to be holding on to his copy of Sandman Volume 2 when the pandemic started, so all of a sudden, it was a while before I was able to return it. And in fact, the Sandman Volume 2 was one of the books in the backpack for the backpack push-ups segment, so I actually need to find a new...
Oh wow, that's impressive. That's a big book.
So now I need to...
Kelvin and Hobbes, the complete Kelvin and Hobbes backpack.
I don't have those. That's the unfortunate thing. I don't have those. No, I don't. I wish. I'd love to, but I do not. I just have the actual entire collection of Calvin and Hobbes, just not in those big tomes. So I gotta find another book that's gonna be the new heavy book. House of Leaves is pretty fucking huge. If I put House of Leaves and maybe one of the other new books I got recently. Actually, I just got a book, Art of Pixar. Actually.
Oh yeah, I have some of those. I might. Oh god.
It's not as heavy. not as heavy, but this book can definitely be.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's
I was
cool.
like,
I have some of the art books, but I don't have the like. I have ones for specific movies.
gotcha. Yeah, this is this one is specifically. It's like the colors. It's the color scripts for like all the Pixar movies. So you kind of go through, and you know what they do is
really
they.
Interesting to look at.
Yeah, so they set the mood. Like the color scripts help to determine the mood of the flow of the movie, the flow of the mood, sort of thing. It's very cool. It's very fun to see them sort of break the process down like this. But it's not quite as heavy as the Sandman, so I might do this with House of Leaves, and that'll sort of equal out the weight of that copy of Sandman. But I was talking to somebody about art books, and then I just happened to decide to look up and see what the price of this was, and it was like $30. I was like, $30.
It's not too bad.
That's fucking. I thought it'd be 100. So, you know,
I just bought
okay.
a new graphic novel. Kate Beaton has a new one that's. I just started reading it. That's the Hark a Vagrant artist.
Nice. Yeah, I love Hark a Vagrant.
But this is like kind of like autobiographical. It's about like, I don't know, her time fresh out of college and stuff, and it's pretty interesting so far. So,
Interesting.
I just started it, but I'm liking it so far. It's called Ducks, 2 Years in the Oil Sands. But I don't know. I just bought it the other day, and I haven't bought a new like graphic novel in a while. I'm kind of enjoying it.
Yeah, I haven't purchased any sort of books like for myself lately. You know, art books, graphic novels, or otherwise. So buying this Pixar book was sort of you know, the first in a while, and I'm glad to sort of have more art books added to my repertoire, because I do love having a good, you know, having an art book is sort of like it's this fun, like, cool thing to have, and it's great to look at. But I would love to. One of the things that like troubles me about buying more books is I don't have like a bookshelf that they're gonna go on.
You can get like a cheapo one from like Walmart or something.
Yeah,
it'll be like made of like crap, but it will hold books.
This room does not have the space for more bookshelves at the moment. Like the bookshelves in this room are full to the brim right now of like just years.
You already had some.
Yeah, I mean it's like, you know, like I said, I have the entire Calvin and Hobbes, so they're all sitting on like one row. A lot of like Foxtrot, Zits, a lot of newspaper comic like collection books are in here. Just from when I was like a kid, and I would collect like newspaper comic books, and just like various other things like academic books from college. Like these bookshelves got filled with just like the past 30 years of my life, essentially.
Yeah, I have that going on.
But if I were to ever move into a place that's not got a big giant hole in the fucking ceiling, and I would like, you know, ideally have space for a bookshelf, then I could sort of, you know, that's where like these new sort of things would go. But
until then, I guess you're not in a place with holes in the ceiling now.
No, but I don't like, you know, there's no room for extra bookshelves. Like this place is pretty much furnitured out as it's gonna be.
Understandable.
I really do have to clear out some of this junk. Like there's gonna be in October a electronics recycling thing going on, which is where I'm gonna just offload these like 3 computer towers I have behind me that I don't know what to do with, because like they're full of like parts that do and don't work, and I don't know what parts do and don't work in them. So I'm gonna take them to this electronics recycling thing, and I think, you know, like you pay a fee, unfortunately, which makes no sense to me because I'm giving you guys the shit. But I guess somebody else is then gonna take apart the stuff and sort of figure out what to do with it. Because like the one thing I just didn't want to do is like take 3 computer towers and just like throw them in a fucking dumpster, you know? That just felt to me, it would feel weird just like throwing all this like plastic and metal into a dumpster, like just when it's like still some of it's perfectly usable still, I guess. I don't know why I feel the way.
Sucks that they're making you pay for it though.
Yeah. But I'll deal with it. I guess.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna try and use it to offload like I have like crates of wires and like power cables for devices that don't exist anymore, for devices that don't work, or just power cables that are completely out of fashion in the electronics world. So I've just got to get rid of those.
I always try to go through them and throw some away, but you never want to throw one away that you're gonna need.
Yeah. So I figure I have these crates. I also felt weird about throwing them away because I'm also like, well, these are perfectly good wires. I don't know. I have a hoarder's mentality.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that this recycling thing is happening because I can give them to somebody else and then it's their fucking problem.
Right.
Because yeah, in my mind, like, these are all things that are they're still functional. They still work. So just throwing them in a dumpster just feels like I'm part of the problem or something like that.
Yeah.
So.
That's fair.
Like because I know that there's people who just like take the wire, like they'll strip the plastic coating off these wires, refashion them into some shit, make some other shit out of them. I'm just like, cool, as long as somebody's just reusing this stuff for their own creations or for whatever purposes, you know.
Yeah. You know, you're about the reusing and the recycling.
Reduce, reuse, recycle. Recycle Sarah. Hey guys, I think it'd be really nice if you could, now you got all these wires here, it'd be cool if you could,
Good for the planet.
Good for the planet if you could, take these wires and, oh wow. Beautiful, 10 out of 10, Michael Sarah.
How's your milk monster coming along?
You know, I couldn't get as creative with it as I wanted to. I couldn't think of anything that was like super outlandish and still felt like Milk Monster, you know? You always want to sort of take these prompts and go in an unexpected route. But unfortunately I couldn't think of anything too super creative for this, which is unfortunate.
I'm happy with mine, but I wouldn't say super creative. I don't know. You'll see.
Are you coloring yours, or is it gonna be in black and white? Okay. Oh no, I was just curious, so I didn't look like a fucking fool when we, you know.
Oh yeah, I'm planning on coloring.
Okay.
So yeah, so that book's been good so far. It's kind of autobiographical, and it's like basically like her struggles through school and like lived in this little rural town in Canada. So like basically everybody from this town like had to go elsewhere to find work, and it's just like this whole. But it's interesting so far, and the art's good, and I always like her stuff. So
yeah.
Excited to read something new.
Very cool. I didn't know that she had come out with a new book. I haven't kept up with.
I saw a good review on Twitter, and then I was like, oh, and I just went and bought it right away.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely. We gotta support the artists. Support the arts. Oh yeah, I was gonna tell about the books that I read before. I heard you paint houses, which sounds like such a fascinating topic when I break it down like that. But I don't know what else we're gonna talk about. But yeah,
you
like.
Watched Sorry, go ahead.
No. Please. What were you gonna say?
Have you watched the rest of the rehearsal yet?
I am on the last 2 episodes right now.
So we'll wait till next week to talk about that.
Okay. It's one of those things where I've been watching it when I eat food. Like, I make myself a meal and then I sit down and watch it, because it's not the kind of show where I want to watch it while I'm working, because it's definitely worth giving it my full attention. Yeah. It requires your full attention to get the full experience, because so you finished the whole thing, right? It sounds like.
I did. I just finished it.
Nice. So yeah, I just got to the episode where he's sort of the kid. He goes to work and he goes to help that guy with he goes to sort of teach the fielder method, and then he comes back and the kid's aged up to a teenager now, and he's sort of he's sort of saying, well, what you would be angry at me, right? So I want you to, and he has the kid, a whole bunch of stuff happens with him and that actor, and it's very interesting. And so I finished that episode. That's the most recent one I've done, and what they're doing with the show is definitely, it's gonna, like, the way it's gonna all end, I feel like is gonna either be, and I hear it's not a disappointment, so I'm like excited for how this whole sort of 6-part series wraps up, because I feel like it's gonna be oddly profound, I guess.
It kind of is, yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Like, what he's done so far in these 4 episodes that I've seen have all been pretty profound in different ways.
I love the kind of misdirect of the entire series.
Mm-hmm.
It presents it like every episode's going to be like the first episode, where he's helping people, and then it just becomes this meta like spiral that he goes into, all about himself.
Like, have you watched that final episode of Nathan For You?
I don't know if I have or not. I'm gonna go back and rewatch the series.
I feel like
okay. I mean, without majorly spoiling it, you can mention a little bit of what happens. I won't be upset.
So it's the final episode of the show, and it's like an hour and a half long. It's like a movie essentially. But what happens is,
I'm not sure I've seen it.
He like, for that episode where he gets the celebrity impersonators to like pretend like they're making a movie for this shop. And they have like a Johnny Depp impersonator, and they have like a Bill Gates impersonator. And in this final episode, Nathan mentions how when they did that episode, the guy who they hired as the Bill Gates impersonator, like, mentions this like story of like this woman he loved, and he sort of like let go, and then it turns into like this road trip where Nathan and this guy go to sort of get this guy like closure on this love that he sort of, and the whole thing becomes like this, it feels very much like it's the precursor to the rehearsal, because in that episode it really breaks down into Nathan sort of talking about, it becomes largely about like how Nathan feels, like what he does to people, about what he does to people with his show, like pranking them, sort of like tricking people into like these crazy scenarios. And he says, like, you know, he mentions at one point, at what point does the show end and does Nathan begin? And that sort of becomes a through line of that whole episode. It's sort of examining his relationship with his own show. And it feels like it's a good thing they ended the show on that episode, because after that, like, you kind of can't go back.
Oh yeah.
And so the rehearsal is like an extension of sort of that. Like, I think you like, having watched the rehearsal, like, I would almost say watch that Nathan For You episode before the rehearsal, but, you know, watch that Nathan For You episode after the rehearsal, if anything, to see sort of the germination of maybe what I'm sort of noticing happening in the rehearsal.
Yeah.
But yeah, it becomes very much about like his relationship with the show, and like himself, like what kind of person is he, and like, so with the rehearsal, I again, since I haven't finished it, I can't speak to what it all sort of culminates in, but I did get a very heavy sense of what he's struggling with in the show from the first episode. And like the specific, like, it's a very funny episode, the first episode, especially when the guy is obsessed with getting the trivia answers right, so they set up all these people to sort of drop these fucking clues, and it's so funny because it's so funny when the cops, like, it makes me wish that the Chinese hadn't invented gunpowder in the 1800s. It's like so blatant.
They're walking past the building and they're like, well, it's a tall building, and some just random like construction workers like, yeah, but it surely isn't the tallest. That would be the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. Yep, yeah. The Burj Khalifa in Dubai.
It's all going pear-shaped. One sec. Let me just rejoin. This is gonna be fun. I gotta make sure that.
What do you need me to do to fix it?
Nothing
like
you can do.
The draw pile type stuff?
Nope, nothing you can do. But anyways, what felt like a very specific and important moment in the rehearsal was in that first episode when he's talking to the guy and he's revealing that he set up him knowing all of these answers to the trivia. And then it like cuts to a guy who's pretending to be the person,
That guy.
and like the actor reacts saying like, "You're a horrible person," and then it cuts to Nathan, and then it cuts back to the actual guy actually reacting. And I felt like that was a very important moment, because I feel like that is Nathan sort of struggling with this idea that he is essentially like pranking these people for extended periods of time.
Taking advantage of people for his show, stuff like that.
Yeah, and I got the sense that it's a lot of it is him struggling with like his morality of like, am I a good person? Am I a bad person for having done what I've done on this show?
He's very concerned with it. He even brings it up in the beginning when he's talking to the guy, and the guy compares him to Willy Wonka, and then he suddenly is like, "Wait, so you're saying I'm the bad guy?" And he's like, "Well, no, you're a dream maker." He's like, "Okay, good," because he like it got concerned that somebody would be like, potentially calling him bad for what he's doing, because he's obviously thinking about it.
Yeah, so I feel like that's gonna be something that becomes more relevant as the series approaches. You don't have to tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I feel like that's going to become especially relevant towards the close of the series, because it does feel like sort of this broader question that's being asked by the rehearsal. And so I'm really curious to see how it all pays off, because I'm not like eager for the show to be over, because I think every episode so far has been a banger.
I think it's getting another season. But,
oh wow, that's interesting. But yeah, I'm interested in finding out how he caps it all off, because I do get the sense that it's gonna all come to not a head necessarily, but I feel like there's gonna be not a wrap up, but it's gonna be making a statement overall. I think this whole 6 episodes is making a statement of some kind, and I'm very interested.
Introspective. And it gets more and more deeper within his own like psyche, and rehearsing things like deeper and deeper within, and it's pretty interesting how it goes, but I won't spoil it.
So it's just been very interesting, and like the presentation has been just like phenomenal. Like the way they use camera cuts and editing to like emotionally manipulate you, the viewer, is like, and then they'll like they'll use camera angles and edits to emotionally manipulate you, and then they'll pull back and show how they used these sort of angles to manipulate you. Like it's almost like it's manipulating you, but at the same time it's calling itself out for its blatant manipulation of the viewer.
Yeah.
It's just very meta in a way that it's very interesting, because of the type of show that Nathan For You was, and the type of show that this is, as an extension of Nathan For You. All that emotional manipulation, I feel like, just the meta commentary of the entire thing is going to be particularly insightful, I think, and I'm excited to see.
Like you kind of said, I think he's always been very self-aware. That's kind of like the whole theme of the shows, but at the same time, I think he got a lot of feedback for the Nathan For You about like, potentially taking advantage of people and like the morality of it all. So I think you're right. Because of that, this show is like a deep dive into that specifically.
Yeah.
It's really good. I recommend it to anybody who's watching. It's a very, very strange. And by the time it ends, you're going to be like, was that morally, am I okay with this show being made?
Right.
My final takeaway was like, I don't know how I feel about any of that, but I did love it. I loved every second, but I don't know if I feel good or bad about it.
Right, because like the thing that I think is going to be particularly interesting is the fact, like the first episode does not at all clue you into the fact that there's going to be such an actual overarching, not prank, but quote unquote rehearsal. And I feel like there's no way that this rehearsal ends well, almost. Like, it feels like the type of rehearsal that either, like, ends and it's just kind of like, it's over, or somebody's gonna end up emotionally devastated in one form or another, and I'm interested in seeing...
Basically, what's about to happen in the next episode really raises the moral questions and then guides the rest of the series until the end.
Interesting. So yeah, so I'm interested in
Yeah, we'll talk about it more when you finish it.
Yeah, it'll be fun to look back and sort of have a real discussion on it.
How's your drawing coming along?
Well, the connection issues kind of made me lose my train of
shit.
thought, so I'm just kind of finishing up now. Yeah. Yeah, Rehearsal is good stuff. I'm really excited to see how they cap it all off. It's one of those shows where the experience itself is good, but I do feel like the end is as important as the individual moments are. It's gonna have to end in some sort of, because like it's definitely, because I think if it had just been a different rehearsal every episode, it could feel like each episode is separate and it's doing its own thing, but because of the overarching rehearsal that's sort of at the center of all of it, I do get the sense that it's got a hell of an ending to it. Like it's just it's setting up that they wouldn't set up an arc if it didn't make sense to have it be a big ending, I guess.
I think that's fair.
Oh yeah, the Rehearsal. Good stuff.
On HBO. Check it out.
On Hobo. Ah shit, I drew this fucking cityscape on the wrong layer. I can't rearrange. Okay.
Oh, you're doing a kaiju.
Yeah, I don't have the permissions in this draw pile to.
Oh, what? You need more layers?
No, I'm just trying to shift my Ian 3 above my Ian 2 because I did some lines on Ian 3.
Gotcha. I'll try to fix that so you have the permissions. You should have had them, but I'll fix it after the show.
I think it was because we have to reopen. I don't know if saving the draw pile after giving me like operator status in the thing affects that, you know?
Oh yeah, maybe.
I'm not quite sure. I also did find a setting when I was setting up for dungeons and DrawBombs. There is a setting where when you launch a session, you can set it so that everyone's just automatically an operator when they come in.
Oh, okay.
I think. I didn't get too much of a chance to play around with it though.
I'll look into that.
Yeah. It's under, if you go to like session and you go to like settings, I think you can alter some permissions and stuff in there. So how about that Drake beef?
I feel like we don't have time to dig into that this episode,
No.
but we definitely should talk about it because it's hilarious.
It's so funny.
I mean, maybe we can talk about it until you're done. I'm done with my drawing now.
Okay, yeah,
I'll
I'm just
have
gonna
to go after we.
I'll just throw some quick colors down real quick. I don't need to get too crazy with it, but that Drake beef is fucking funny. That's it. I don't
So
know.
funny.
Just
Basically,
for-
to do the quick version.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
No, you go for it.
So there's a medium, I would say medium popular YouTube music reviewer.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he's famous enough again amongst like people who would be into that, but I wouldn't say he's famous enough that he's like a household face. Like,
Yeah.
you know, unless you're in those circles, you probably haven't heard of him.
If you've been on YouTube,
and-
you may have seen him or seen mention of him, but if you're not really online a lot, maybe you don't know who he is.
I would say the average person doesn't know who it is.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's important to note for the whole
Yes.
story.
It makes it's very relevant.
He reviews music, and he's pretty Anthony Fantano, I believe his channel is called Fantano. It's pretty cool if you're interested in music, because he reviews anything and everything, and he does it in a way where he explains why he feels a certain way, and it's kind of interesting to hear his opinions because he backs them up with like some almost like music theory and some like he's pretty thoughtful about why he's reviewing them the way he is. And it doesn't mean that he's right all the time. I disagree with him a lot, but it's still interesting to hear reviewers like or people. It's interesting to hear people talk when they know what they're talking about, I guess.
Yeah, I value alternate perspectives on
for sure.
art, and especially if it's a person who I don't necessarily agree with, but their reasoning is sound. Like, it's not just like, I thought it was dumb. Like, it's someone who can actually say, like, I just was not connecting with the lyrics, etc., etc. Like, that's much more insightful than, you know, a lot of maybe somebody just straight up agreeing with you too, you know?
Right. Anyways, so he reviewed a Drake album, I believe, a recent one, and he reviewed it very poorly. I think his lowest rating possible is just not good, right?
Yeah, he doesn't give it a
even below
score.
any
He
numbers.
just, yeah, it doesn't. It's not worthy of a number. It's not worth it.
And he's not like biased towards Drake because he's reviewed positively Drake things in the past. So he's just, you know, it's just his opinion on the internet. I didn't like this album.
Yeah.
And so, apparently in the middle of the night, Drake slipped into his Instagram DMs and just like I don't know how to say it, like dissed him, like said some like shit of like angry shit towards him.
Yeah, it just
like,
got real
petty.
salty.
Real salty.
Real salty, man.
Towards him, and he didn't really. The guy who's the reviewer didn't really. I mean, he was surprised, but he didn't really care that much. He wasn't even gonna post it. Part of from what he said, like part of him thought like that's what Drake wanted, was him to like make a big deal out of it, and like
Yeah.
So he didn't even respond to it. He didn't even post it. He didn't do anything. So he didn't leak it or anything. What he did do is he made a YouTube shit post of saying like Drake dropped in my DMs, and then when he revealed what Drake did, he said he sent him a vegan cookie recipe, and he just goes
So
through it,
funny.
and the video takes like a long time, and it's just like
He's just
obviously
reading through
anybody
the
watching it,
instructions.
yeah, and obviously anybody who watch it would be like, oh, this is like a dumb, silly thing. Obviously Drake didn't actually send this, and that's the end of it. And honestly, the only people that would understand the joke would be him and Drake.
Yeah.
And so it's a pretty classy play.
I agree,
It's pretty
yeah.
like harmless play, and it's like
Also,
not,
you get a
not
lot of
put-
comments on the video who are just like, if they did believe that Drake actually did send these DMs, they're just like, damn, that's wholesome as fuck for Drake to, like, you know, set
Right.
aside the reviews and just send a cookie recipe. That's wholesome, you know? Like, it made Drake look
that would
better, if
make
anything.
Drake look better. But apparently, Drake is a sensitive boy, and he did not like. I don't know why. I guess it didn't go the way he expected to puppeteer it to go,
Yeah.
and so he was mad that he didn't show it off, or I don't know to explain what's
Drake
going
was-
on inside Drake's head, because it's bizarre.
Maybe Drake was like, it's not, you know, it doesn't make me look hard if I send a cookie recipe. Like, I'll show what I
Yeah,
actually, I
trying to
don't
look
know.
Yeah,
It's fucking stupid.
grew up in Degrassi. He's a tough fella, tough
That's
cookie,
right.
if you will. So anyways, Drake released the actual DMs in his Instagram story, and they make him look petty as shit. They're
So
like
salty and
not even
petty.
like a clever diss or anything. Nothing about it is like, oh, burn. You're just like, oh, you okay, man? Like,
Oh,
really?
you watch,
wanted everyone to see this?
oh, you watch a lot of Fantano reviews, don't you, Drake? You're using
Yeah,
his own
that's the
phrase.
best part. The way that he insulted the guy is by using his own rating system. So not only is he mad, but he's also somebody that like watches his videos enough to know like the terminology that only he uses.
Beyond that,
It's
he
like,
also brings up the race of Fantano's partner, and it's
Yeah,
like, I
super
didn't
weird.
even know the dude was married. Like, Drake went deep into like looking
Drake
into.
knows him. Yeah, we actually are fans of this guy and Drake knows more about him than we do.
Yeah.
So it's just the whole thing's funny because it's like, boy, like it really hurt your feelings, didn't it? Just because
Yeah.
he said he didn't like your newest album. That's all. He didn't say anything personal about Drake.
No, in fact, I
Like
actually
said,
watched.
He's rated previous albums good. He just didn't like this one.
I actually watched his review again too, and he rates the album not good, but he does actually have some like things to say that are positive about the album. Like, he even positively.
Oh, it says you just left.
It sure does. Looks like the internet's going to be doing a thing. Let's just wrap this rock, paper, pencil up, I guess.
Okay.
Wow. It's doing
Yeah, this is
that.
pretty much time for me to go, anyways.
Yeah. Anyways, Drake's
But yeah,
a petty
if
bitch.
you are interested, go to subscribe to Fantano and then also like watch his newest video about it. He kind of goes over the whole thing. It's pretty funny. His
Instagram live video where he just talks about it for like 14 minutes off the cuff is honestly like a masterclass on dealing with that sort of thing, because he just like ruins Drake's entire life with just off the cuff comments while also still basically being level-headed about the whole situation and sort of giving.
It's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, it's a 14-minute masterclass on just fucking taking Drake to the cleaners. Yeah,
there it is, folks. There's some milk monsters right there.
Here's some milk monsters. I'm gonna I have to quick change up which window I'm working with now. Here we go. Look at that. I think you win, just because yours is definitely.
Mine is cow. Yours is carton.
Yes.
I like the missing person on the side.
Thank you. I thought that was the only.
Maybe the milk monster, while it's chasing you, you're on the side of the carton. That'd be scary.
If I had
the two sentence horror story.
Yeah,
milk monster is chasing me. I am scared.
Didn't one of our horror stories end up being like the milk carton? I am on milk carton or something like that.
Oh yeah, there actually was a decent one. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think it was saying like basically like they were on the or somebody. I don't know.
It was something about like I'm the person on the missing milk on the thing. I don't know. Something like that. I'm pretty sure.
Carton.
I'm milk carton man.
Our friend of the show, I forget. I think Mercury Tempest is his Twitch username,
Yes.
but Derek just messaged me on Discord and said my milk monster is nightmare fuel. I don't know why he's hiding from the chat. He's scared to be involved. But he sent me a private message letting me know that he's scared.
Dude, did you just leak your DMs?
I did. That's what he's talking about. I'm like Drake.
Shit. Drake.
I'm like Drake without the money.
You're like Drake without the fucking millions of dollars in influence, but also.
It's true. I'm lacking all that.
Just the pettiness, like how, like you can. So it just goes to show, you can have all the money in the world, you can have all the influence in the world, you can like sleep with any woman you want or whatever. You can get away with doing some creepy grooming shit even, but no matter what, one dude's internet review is still gonna make you salty as fuck. It can't buy you happiness, it turns out.
Every time I see that kind of shit, I just think about the PR people they have to pay money to, who are like, fuck. Like, all right, scramble the team. Everybody get out of bed. We got work to do.
How do we
Drake
spend
did something
this?
Stupid.
I
Mercury
did.
Tempest is in the chat now. Says hello, long time lurker, first time caller.
Welcome. Glad to have you aboard. You sure did.
Now let's go down the top 10 milk monsters. Number 10.
No, you gotta do it like those YouTube videos where it's like, now for those top 10 milk monsters. Number 10, this milk monster is real scary. I mean, we talked about these types of videos.
I am utterly frightened.
Utterly.
Number 9.
Number 9.
Are you planning on coloring this anymore? Is your internet telling you it's over? I gotta get going here pretty quick anyways.
The internet kind of squashed it. It's okay. The beef has been squashed.
Thanks everyone for joining. Thanks Mercury Tempest for coming in at the end. He says Burger King foot lettuce. I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
Belbo Rocket, thanks for joining us. Leviathan Den, thanks as always, especially for subbing again. Wow, what a guy.
Wow,
what a guy.
Brandon,
Ian, do you have anything to plug? Haha.
You beat me to it. Lotus Clock. I don't think we said Lotus Clock. They were also in the chat.
Love ya.
Love ya. Things to plug. You know, the Kickstarter has not yet gone up for the book yet. The person I believe who is running that is still in Korea. No confirmation on a delay of the book yet. Still gonna act like it's not gonna happen, but I still have my suspicions just because of the late arrival of the Kickstarter yet. aside from that, check out the DrawBomb YouTube channel. I've been uploading highlights when we do an episode. I have been uploading highlights daily for these episodes to try and keep that YouTube engagement. I don't know if it's working, but fuck it, I don't know. I'm gonna keep trying.
I'm enjoying the videos, so if that is worth anything to you,
it's not.
Me. Well, I'm sorry.
Are you 100 different people? No.
No, I am just one man.
Man, who gives a fuck? No, it's fine.
That's fair.
It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun sort of doing these edits. You know, just sort of making highlights, seeing what works with the algorithm, seeing what doesn't. It definitely helps to mention like I stopped trying to like fake pump up the numbers lately by like adding a bunch of artificial views. Just been letting the numbers speak for themselves, and I did notice that the one that mentions Futurama in the title has many more views than the ones that are just sort of like, we don't say
Maybe at the end of the clip we just go Justin Bieber and then
yeah, there we go.
Upload it and then the computer will find it.
Our thoughts on Justin Bieber. So yeah.
I don't have anything to plug. DrawBomb on Mondays. Check it out. It's great. It's quality.
It's quality. One day the internet will work.
These. Yeah, we'll be back. We've dealt with this in the past.
Dealt with some things.
The woes of the internet.
An internet guy stopped by earlier today. Looks like they're gonna have to come by again, but
he stopped over. He banged your modem with a hammer a couple times. Do you guys have your own modem, or do you have the one that comes with the internet?
I mean, the modem we have is through the company, but the router we have was bought separate. So,
you could consider. I know they're expensive, but you could consider nabbing your own modem.
We could. I mean, they're gonna
helps.
if I call them again soon, they'll just outright replace the modem with a updated version. So I don't know. We're still gonna kind of keep an eye on the situation.
I know the internet companies are different everywhere, but the internet company I used to have, the modems they would give you were shit. And if you paid for the best internet, it would still not even be possible with the modem they gave you.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean,
be like paying for nothing.
Yeah, and we'll play it by ear. I mean, if they put the new modem in and it's still like garbage, I don't know. We'll have to. We're gonna kind of. It's a fluid situation. It's all.
That's right.
It's all moving.
The internet cannot be contained. It's a majestic beast. It cannot be captured.
It's not a big truck you dump stuff in. It's a series of tubes.
That's right.
And our tubes are a little wonky.
Gummed up tubes.
Gummed up tubes, gummed up life, gummed up kid with the gummed up knife. Gummed up. That's I'm doing a Limp Bizkit reference.
That's a Limp Bizkit song.
Yeah.
Love it.
What a good, let's end on this note.
I think so.
Okay,
Thanks
bye.
everybody for watching. Bye.
Limp Bizkit.
Bye.
Bye.